Hello and welcome back. On this video I want to talk through how to do a plain JavaScript view router. So this idea came up pretty organically as I was working on the little to-do app today. Basically I wanted to add a settings view, right? Because the idea is that in my app creation process down here when I do new app, this is the only place where I can actually set the name, right? Put encrypted name. So what I wanted to do is add a settings screen where I can change the name later on. So just gonna walk through how I do that without the stages. I'm just gonna kind of do it on the fly here. So first things first is we're gonna want a new settings page, right? So I'll just go ahead and add a div id settings, and I'll go ahead and add a little header that says settings page. Well, I'll just say settings, and I'm gonna add a little input that is like something like this here, right? Oh, whoops, I want that. There we go. So the idea is that I'm going to, similar to how I hide the splash and display the app, I'm going to do the same thing with the settings. Now, the question is, how can I do, like, as I start adding more and more views, there's got to be a better way to do that rather than do it manually, right? So down here in my code, in my start function, I have this code right here where I'm manually doing display the app and hide the splash by setting display to none on the splash. So the best way to go about this is probably to create a function that accepts a string that is the name of the view, right, that I want to show, and then I'll just hide all of the other views. So let's try that. So I'll do function, and I'll call it focusView, or it could be like show view or something. I'll just do focusView, and it'll accept a view name. And the basic idea is this code right here. I'm gonna do basically showing I'm gonna show the view name, right? focusView view name, and I'm gonna show it, and then I'm gonna hide all the rest of them. So I need to iterate through and hide the rest of them. So as I add more views into the app, as I probably will at some point, I don't know, you never know, right? I'm gonna want to be able to iterate through them automatically. So probably the best way to do that is to create a class called view. So I'll do class is view, and I'm gonna put that on all of these things that are views, right? So now I can iterate through all of them by using a neat little function here. So it'll be var views equals document.get elements by class name, and I'm gonna get the views here, just like that. Okay, so then this should be basically an array of HTML elements, okay? An array of views, all right? With me so far, okay? Now that I have that, I'm just gonna do a little for loop. This is always so tedious, right? I is less than views dot length I plus plus, And I actually don't think I can do a for each on this object for some reason, on this array. It's something to do with the HTML elements. I'm not sure. In any case, this like old school for loop is a probably a more efficient or performant way to loop anyway. So I'm gonna loop through all of them, and basically, if the current view ID is equal to view name, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to show it by removing the style, right? And else I'm going to hide it. So I'm going to hide all the rest of them by putting a display equals none. Okay. So this is like a stupidly simple way to route your app views here with a focus view. So now I actually need a button to like test this out, right? So I need to go into my HTML up here, which by the way I can just get, collapse that. I need to go up into my HTML here and say, let's say on the app view, when we show that in the startup function, let's actually add a couple things. For one, we'll add something that says like, actually no, I don't need to add an app view header. I'll just add a button that says on click, we'll do focus view, and we actually want to do focus view and pass it settings, right? And then this will be the settings button. So I could actually have the button say show settings or something like that, right? And then likewise on the settings view, in order to get back, we'll go back and say show list, right? And then we'll have it go back to the app view there, right? So we added two buttons. Okay, now I think I can actually test this out here. So let me go ahead and show my browser. So I'll refresh that. Okay, but it's showing all of them, or it's showing the app and settings right now. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the app starts out with all of them hidden pretty much, except for the splash, right? So I need to add this style display none to the settings as well, so that only the splash shows up at first. So now I'll go back to the browser. Okay, all right. So now I'll create my new list. There we go. And if I click show settings, there we go. I'm in the settings. Oh, but it didn't actually hide the app view. That's weird. Let's try to figure out why. So it showed settings, but it did not hide app. So in focus view, oh, it's because this says splash. I actually need it to be views I. There. So if the current view ID matches view name, do that. Else grab that view and add none. Okay, now we're good. All right, going back to the browser here. My new list. Now show settings. Oh, cannot read property style of null. We got another error here. Let's see what's going on. Null. Views I. Okay, so views is get elements by class name view. Okay. Bar I equals 0, I is less than views dot length I plus plus. If views I view name. Let's see, get element by ID, views I. Oh, is that not, well, that should be the ID. Oh, it's views I.id. There we go. There we go. That makes more sense. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me in that puzzle. Okay, my new. All right. Show settings. Boom. Now we're in the settings view. Okay, and then I can do show list and go back to the list. 1, 2, 3. Show settings. There we go. Now show list. Okay. Now, in the settings, right, I actually want to have this rename the list, right? And it kind of just does a bunch of stuff because it's not wired up correctly. So let's go back to the code and hook up this in the settings. We'll hook up this onChange view or onChange function here. So instead of new app this, I wanna have it be like a new function, maybe like not new app, but maybe rename app. That's a good function name there. Okay, so let's just create this function here maybe down by here, down by new app. We'll do function rename app, and I'll say app name. It accepts the app name. Actually, no, it'll accept the element. And of course, similar to new, it's going to be very similar code to the new app, right? Because it's going to do that renaming. So it'll do element.value is list name. Yeah. We don't need to generate new app keys. No. We don't need to do user auth. No. So we'll just do the list name and then encrypted name. We're going to encrypt it, and then we're going to do user get to do's get name put encrypted name, and that's going to replace what was already in here. Okay, and then we don't need to call start at all. We will do element dot value equals empty string because we want to clear out that input so our text doesn't stay there, so that the users know that something happened, for example. I think we're good on that. Oh, I need to make this an async function because of this await right here. All right. Now let's go back to the browser and test out our changes here. All right. My old list. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Show settings, and I'll change it to my new list. Enter, and it worked. Show list, and I'm back to the thing. Cool. So we have a couple of views in here. Now this kind of sets us up for the ability to add in more screens. Yeah, show list, show settings. Obviously we want to have a better layout than this. So like this show settings, we could turn that into like a little tiny gear icon, maybe to the right of the header. That would be a solid idea. And then maybe like a little back arrow, like a little left caret thing to go back to the oh, look at that. That's hilarious. Okay, I want to rename it my old list. Cool. All right. Thank you guys so much. That's pretty much all I wanted to do. Bye.